My name is Moses, once a prince of Egypt, now the chosen deliverer of my people, Israel. The story I'm about to tell, it's one of divine intervention, of plagues and exodus. For 430 years, my people, Israel, suffered under the cruel yoke of Egyptian slavery. The relentless sun beat down on our backs as we toiled in the mud pits, building monuments to Pharaoh's glory. I had fled Egypt, a wanted man, but then, in the wilderness, God spoke to me through a burning bush. He commanded me to return and lead my people out of bondage. Let my people go.
Who is this God that I should obey him? I do not know the Lord, and I will not let Israel go.
And so it began. The Nile, lifeblood of Egypt, turned to blood. Fish died and the stench rose to the heavens. Frogs covered the land, their croaking a maddening cacophony that drove men to the brink of insanity. They were in the beds, the ovens, everywhere. Then came the lice, tiny but relentless, tormenting man and beast alike. No one could find relief from their constant itching. Wild beasts ravaged the cities, their roars echoing through the empty streets, as people cowered in their homes. A terrible disease struck down the livestock in the fields. The animals fell where they stood, and the land was filled with their carcasses. Boils erupted on the skin of the Egyptians, painful reminders of their rulers' unyielding pride. The skies darkened ominously, and then fire and ice rained down with a fury. Hail mixed with fire, obliterating crops and shattering trees. What little remained was devoured by relentless locusts. They came in swarms so thick they blotted out the sun, a living nightmare. And then, darkness. A darkness so profound it could be felt in the bones. For 3 days, Egypt was plunged into a blackness that chilled the soul and paralyzed the heart. But it was the final plague that shattered Pharaoh's resolve, the death of Egypt's firstborn. In one night, a cry of anguish rose from every Egyptian home, a wail of unimaginable sorrow.
Go, take your people and leave us.
We fled Egypt, a great multitude, carrying with us the wealth of our oppressors, our hearts filled with hope. But our trials were far from over. Pharaoh's heart hardened once more. He sent his army after us, their chariots thundering across the desert, a storm of vengeance. We found ourselves trapped between the vast, unyielding sea and the relentless, approaching army. Fear gripped our hearts like a vice. Had we journeyed so far, endured so much, only to meet our end here? It was there, on the precipice of despair, that I witnessed God's ultimate display of power. I stretched out my staff over the sea, and a mighty east wind began to blow. The sea, it parted. A path of dry land emerged before us, with towering walls of water on either side. It was a sight beyond imagination, a testament to God's boundless power. We crossed to freedom, the sound of rushing water in our ears, the ground firm and steady beneath our feet. As the last of us reached the other side, I turned to see Pharaoh's army entering the sea path. I stretched out my hand once more, and the waters thunderously crashed down upon them. In that moment, the sea reclaimed its domain, and our pursuers were no more. In that moment, we were no longer slaves. We were a free people, bound for the promised land. Our journey had only just begun. Ahead lay the wilderness, years of wandering and trials yet to come. But we moved forward with unwavering faith, knowing that the God who had parted the seas would guide our way. This is the story of our Exodus, a testament to God's power and His promise. Remember it, for in remembering, you too are part of this epic journey. And so, our story continues, from slaves to a nation, from bondage to freedom. The Exodus was not an end, but a magnificent beginning.